You are what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
Okay, in today's video, I'm going to feature some dies that I picked up from Temu, and I had shared them in a previous haul video, and I wanted to cut them out using my scraps of colored cardstock and sort of see what kind of results I get. So I'm going to be using my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. This is an electronic die cutting machine. I've got a set of standard plates, and I also have a metal shim that I'll end up using for more intricate dies. So for the first set of dies, I'm going to use these postage stamp dies, and I'm going to actually use some scrap pattern paper instead. I was initially going to use colored cardstock, but I thought that these postage stamp dies would look better using scraps of pattern paper. So I'm just going to get one of the smaller sets of postage stamps taped onto a scrap of cardstock, and I'll run that through my die cutting machine. And I'm going to do that to all of these stamps to get a really good look at what the die cuts look like and the options that I have. So for this one here, it ends up cutting out 2 tickets, and it has a little perforated edge that you could peel away. Now, I was going to tear it, but I thought I'm just going to leave them together because I'm not going to do anything with these postage stamps today. I just wanted to cut them out and kind of see what they look like and what results I got. So I thought this was really cute, and you can use these to embellish your envelopes, but you could also use them to cut out scraps and kind of create a background on your cards if you cut this out multiple times. So you can create rows of patterns using those stamps. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm not going to end up making a card with this today. I wanted to move on to the next dies and see what I got there too. So here I'm going to grab the doily dies, and these are all attached together. I decided to not break them apart because I thought it would be easier to cut out multiples when it was all attached together. So I grabbed a sheet of my scrap blue cardstock and I ran that through my die cutting machine. I did end up using the metal shim for this one to make sure that my die cuts cut all the way because we were cutting 4 at a time through heavyweight cardstock. So I just grabbed a little die brush and ran that through the little doilies to pop out any of those little tiny bits, and everything falls out nice and easy. I didn't have too much trouble here. So I'm just cleaning up those little bits and pieces, and the dies cut beautifully. So I really love these cute little doilies, and I went through a whole rainbow of colors and made a huge mess. So one of the things that I also got from Temu was this really cool little desk vacuum, and I love it for things like this. Just running through my die cutting machine and creating all kinds of mess. My little vacuum handles this with ease and cleans up beautifully. So here we go. Here's a look at a whole pile of little doilies that I cut out from a rainbow of colored cardstock. And I just grabbed a card base and I was playing around trying to come up with different configurations and layouts of the doilies until I settled on this pattern. I didn't want to use all of those colors. I thought that these 3 colors went together really nicely. So I'm just going to pop each little doily up on a little foam square and lay out a pattern on the front of my card. And I'm just peeling the release paper of those foam squares and popping the doilies down onto the front of my card base. And then once I've got them all in place where I want them to be, I'm going to take my scissors and cut off the excess. I'll just use the card base as a guide to where I'm going to cut, and then voila, we have this beautiful doily background with lots of dimension and texture, and it looks really nice. I'm not going to do anything else to this card. I'm just giving you ideas to show you how to use these dies. I'm not going to complete the card, and we're going to move on to the next set of dies. The last set of dies I have to share with you are these layered lacy ovals, and I'm going to grab some scraps of pink cardstock, and I just want to cut them out to show you how delicate and beautiful these borders are. So I'm going to run this through my die cut machine, and I'll pop out the largest die first, and look at the detail here. This is really pretty. So I've cut out the first die, and now I'm going to take the biggest die and the second biggest die, and I'm going to run them together to create a frame. So I'm just going to tape those 2 dies down. I'll run it through my die cut machine, and then you'll see what we get. We get this one piece that's a full oval, and then we have this other piece that's just the frame. and it's a really nice touch. You can create die cut inlay with this, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So I'm just going to use my die brush to pop out any of those little itty bitty pieces, and of course my little vacuum to clean up, and then I'm going to run the dies through my die cut machine one more time so I can get a few extra pieces to show you how you can layer these up and make beautiful results. So here are the first 2 dies, and now I decided to cut out another pink one to layer inside of my big one, and I end up with this frame and then a doily that'll insert inside of it. And I thought, let me do one more. I'm going to go down one more size and cut out the next size out of this piece here in the center, and then inlay one more different colored piece so that you can see that layered effect. So here we have the large frame, and I'm going to glue that down to my card base. I'm just using liquid glue here, and I'm only applying glue to that solid inside piece. I'm going to leave the little spaces with the little poked holes in the edge. I'm going to leave that free so that if it decides to pop up a bit and give us a little bit of dimension, then we'll get that without having that extra bulk for foam squares. This lays very nicely, and then I'm going to take the next piece, apply adhesive, and then I'm going to pop that right inside, and it fits in just like a puzzle. And I'll lay that piece in, and then you can see that sort of decorative frame that we get. Beautiful. And then I'll take the last piece and apply adhesive and pop that right in the center. And then there we go. This looks like so much dimension, and I'm just using a little piece of Kleenex to grab any glue that may have seeped out. But we get all of this dimension, and it's just one flat card. It's just super simple, but it creates a really extravagant look. I stamped a little happy birthday on the center there just for the purposes of the video. And then I'm going to make one more card, and I decided to stamp a happy birthday on this one too, and I kind of messed up. I didn't stamp it very well. I wanted to stamp it to the bottom of the oval, but I ended up getting it sort of off and onto this stitched outline, but that's okay. So I'm going to take these other dies that I've cut out here and pop them up on some foam squares, and I'm going to create like a layered effect. So I'm popping foam squares on all 3 of my pieces. Now these are the first, second, and third dies in the set. There are 4 in this set, so I'm not using the smallest one, but I'm using the first 3. So I'm going to pop the first one up right on the center of my card, and I'll take the second largest oval and pop that up on top of that one, and then finally the last one and pop that up right in the center. So now we get all of this dimension and fluffy, frilly layers, and they're so pretty. You could do this in a rainbow of colors. I'm just trying to give you basic ideas. These are not my sort of everyday types of cards, but they're just simple ideas to show you the beautiful dies and how lovely they cut out. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. If you have stuck this far into this video, thank you so much. I've been fighting a cold. I know I'm very nasally. I'm doing the best that I can. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to check out the Temu website, download the app, use my coupon code for 30% off of your purchase. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!